That's okay. Good evening. Another Sunday follows another weekend defeat. Welcome to Spurs Diehards TTID Tottenham Till I Die. With me, an illustrious panel. Tom will be joining us shortly. But bottom right of your screens, Si, Brummy Spurs. I think you've been on this show before, but not on mine, Si. Good evening to you.
Good evening, Ian. Yeah, looking forward to... looking forward's probably the wrong word, but talking about another defeat and what's going to be happening from here at Spurs. It's worrying time.
And one of our regulars, Cal Stubbs from Project Spurs. Good evening, Cal.
Evening, mate. Evening to everyone. Yeah, back again, and it's another therapy session, isn't it? Unfortunately, so hopefully we've got some more enjoyment for everyone than what the football was yesterday.
And my partner in crime, co-founder of this channel, Adrian. Good evening, Adrian.
Good evening. I'd like to remind people of a famous quote from Winston Churchill: "When you're going through hell, keep going."
It feels like it. I'll say hi to, I won't be able to say to everybody in the chat. I'm sure it will get busier. I know we've had Roger and Jimmy on earlier. Nita, good evening. MKP, not sure who you are, what your first name is, but welcome. Norm, good evening. Daniel, 90 Coys, yeah. Brian Knight, Chris Barrett, Wayne Bonner as well. Yeah, a lot of big hitters, a lot of regulars as well. So without further ado, let's start with a game. Manchester United 2, Tottenham Hotspur 0. I'm not going to go through the team because I don't think it matters that much, tactics and what have you, because everything was rather undone for us in about the 23rd minute. But let's start with you, Si. For that, before Romero was sent off, I thought we looked really good, really comfortable and confident.
Yeah, I agree with you, Ian. I thought up until that red card, I mean, probably even like 5 to 10 minutes exactly before that red card, I mean, we constantly had the possession. We were asking questions of Manchester United. No, probably just some little half chances. Nothing like to write home about, but I mean, I was watching that and I thought we could do something here. We could do something, but then, as we know, once that red card come, it just changed the game, really, didn't it? It just changed the game, and yeah, I just what goes on in his head, I'll never know for him to do stuff like that, really.
Cal's just disappeared, so I'll just keep you on before I bring Cal and then Adrian in. I mean, we didn't create anything earth-shattering in chances, but Conor Gallagher certainly had one that was more than takeable.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he just didn't connect with it properly, did he? When the ball come into the box, a nice late run into the box, which, to be fair, we missed that since he's come. He offers that, whereas a lot of our other midfielders, we haven't really got anyone who does that late run into the box. So yeah, it was a good run, and if he could have connected with it that much better, the whole game could have been a different story. But you know, it's funny now. I mean, you go to about 10 games ago, we weren't creating that many chances, but we seem to be putting nearly everyone away. Whereas now, you know, we are creating chances, but we seem to be struggling to find the back of the net as well, which is unfortunate.
Yeah, goals win games, Cal.
Goals win games. We can't win games. That's the bloody problem at the moment. If we're playing in Europe, I think we'd be all right playing in Spain or something like that, wouldn't we? Because realistically, that's the only place where we're winning at the moment. And me and Adrian and even Si have been massive backers of Frank. I know, Ian, you wanted Glasner in the summer, but realistically, we've won, 2 games since October in the Premier League, and one of them was against the Crystal Palace team, who were apparently before today in more dire straits than us. Now they blinking win a game and go ahead of us. So when you do lack that goal scoring intuition and don't have anything to create, you're not going to win games. I mean, you could see that we had some domination, but it wasn't enough. And obviously, I know we'll get to the Romero stuff in a sec. We are not winning games we should do as what all of us have expected. I mean, we've got nearly 200 years between the 4 of us on here of supporting Spurs, and realistically, we haven't seen this in a long time, have we?
No, 100%, Cal. I mean, Adrian, I'm watching that first 25 minutes, and I'm thinking, this isn't a relegation side. This is a decent football side playing some good football. Simmons is showing the quality of the player he is. Defensively, yeah, of course, they're going to create chances. But defensively, we look pretty solid and look like we might create ourselves.
Yeah, that's the disappointing thing. I mean, we can compete against anyone on our day when we're on point and we bring our A game. And the thing was, Man United came out the traps flying. They had a couple of half chances and things. But we were growing into the game before the sending off. You know, we just started to grow into the game. We're getting grips with them, and I'm thinking, well, I know they've got a 3-4 match unbeaten run, but they don't look no better than us. We know they've got a potent front 3 on paper, but most of them are new, and you'd have to assess them on their stats at the end of the season. And I thought, I was a bit concerned. I thought, we're going to have 2 in midfield against them. I'm not liking this 2 in midfield. I've been on about it. Most games are won and lost in midfield, and I'd still like 3. And I mean, I'm not including Xavi in that. So I'd rather it be I'd rather it be a 4-3-1-2, than like a 4-2-3-1. While we're at this stage, I mean, most managers that have problems with teams and getting results, they go ultra defensive. You get that. We've got a bit more about us when we're on point. But yeah, it is disappointing. I get the angst that's out there. And I'm sure you'll get into the whole situation the club's in.
I am going to. There's actually some. Sometimes with so much going on, it's hard to get all the comments up on the main screen. But I mean, there's one there which I'll come back to. I'm not going to ask people to comment on it now. We look like a broken football club. And this one, 2 wins in 16 games is not what this club deserves. We as fans do not deserve this. I want a management to come out and give us answers. Well, I tell you, we are going to cover a fair bit of that this evening. I feel like we're sleepwalking to relegation. And that's how people feel. So we are going to talk about this. Si, Cristiano Romero in the week talked about the club failing to sign players when we're down to bare bones in terms of personnel. a disgrace. What he did yesterday was an absolute disgrace, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was, Ian. He just loses his head. I mean, before the game, I put out a tweet wondering if Romero would start after his latest outburst. To be honest, after what he did, I wish he hadn't started. You just knew with him, you just knew that he was going to either put in a man of the match performance or potentially get himself sent off. Obviously, he did the latter. He can't have any complaints, can he, really? Let's be honest. I understand his frustrations with the club. I totally understand that. I think we all agree to a certain extent with his frustrations. But, you know, that's fine. Leave it on social media. Don't bring it onto the pitch. And then, but, you know, it's a 4-match ban now. Is it 1 yellow card away from another ban? The way he's going, he's probably only going to play 2 more games till the end of the season. He let his teammates down, he let the fans down, and for once, this defeat is on him and not on Thomas Frank, really.
Callum, people online I read, and God, you have to put up with a lot of crap online. But people saying it was the red card was harsh. How did you see it? Cal, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can now, mate. I can now.
Sorry. Yeah. If you didn't hear, the question I led with was some people online were saying that the red card was harsh. What was your take?
Theoretically, based on other decisions, yes, it may be hard, but we can only talk about what was in the moment. He went into a challenge. He could have, within reason, pulled his challenge. It was a studs-up challenge, and based on what the PMGOL put out, it was excessive, dangerous conduct that could endanger someone's well-being. So, realistically, if we are going letter of the law, it is a red card. I feel that we need to look at the moments before that where ultimately he overplayed the ball, played himself into that situation for him then to overcorrect into it. So realistically, he created the problem for himself to get a red card because he squandered his first pass, his first touch. So realistically, it's difficult. We see the slow-mos, we see the pictures. 90% of me says it's a red card. 10% of me says, fuck me, it's our luck that we get a red card. And yes, he's been targeted, but by law of the game, them decisions should be reds, and they are challenges that can be leg breakers or ankle breakers. So I do think it was justified. It just doesn't do well for his character, and as fans, we're the ones that are going to suffer now watching our club play with it.
Do we think he's targeted quite a bit sometimes by the referees?
They've probably got his name in the book, but realistically, Casemiro's the same for Man United. Yeah. He gets a lot of red cards, and he got yellowed yesterday for it. So it's difficult because we only watch our team, don't we? So we don't know if there are other players that get yellow carded because all of us predominantly watch Spurs games. I know most of us were watching the City-Liverpool game earlier because it had an impact on the title race, but realistically, we don't see other decisions in every other game, do we? Apart from maybe Ref Watch on Sky on a Monday morning. So I think that we say he's targeted because we're the only ones that see him get red carded all the time. But realistically, I think it's quite a scathing statement for that, to be honest.
You're just crying out for consistency, though, because I'm sure there's been challenges like that this season. That
the only way they have, Si, There have, and I think Keith Hackett, the ex-referee, some of you younger ones, some of the older ones will know, maybe you younger ones won't. But if nothing else, he refereed our FA Cup final with Manchester City in 1981. And he's not questioning the red card, he's questioning the inconsistency. And there was one in the City United game that was over the top and should have been a red. But for me, the problem is, saying the decisions are inconsistent doesn't exonerate Romero. Romero's was, and I say this as an ex-referee, and Adrian and Callum, you may know, I don't know on the Spurs diehards, as soon as I saw the replay of that Manchester City third goal, I put a little thing on the post, no goal, you maybe see that, red card, free kick City. That's as an ex-referee. You although I've refereed for God knows how many years now, certainly more than 20 years. You never stop watching the game as a referee. And I look at the Romero challenge. Yeah, there's inconsistency, but there's no argument. For anyone who knows football, it's a red card. Sorry, Cal,
if I can
come in there.
Yeah, if I can put it to you. Could I just put it to you just quickly, as an ex-referee, obviously, most of us on here are either ex-referees, ex-coaches or ex-players. And realistically, I think one of the main problems with like VAR and on-field decisions now is that refs make VAR do all the talking for them because they use it as a safeguard, a safety net, everything like that. So as an ex-referee, would you say that it would probably be better putting people who actually know football, who have played football behind that camera and lead the referee on the pitch and then give them professional, proper football guidance for it?
I understand where you're coming from on this. The problem is what Craig Pawson did today was enforce the laws of the game, was applied the laws of the game. He couldn't play advantage where there's two fouls like that. I mean, it sounds like fun. Well, they're both at it. I'm just letting it go. But the reality is I can never pronounce the boy's name. But the defender was probably getting to the ball and Haaland pulls him back.
Soboslai it was, wasn't it?
Thomas, I can never pronounce it right. And I'm not having Tom giving me jip when he comes on about my pronunciations because it was a wonder goal. But he was probably getting to that ball when Haaland fouled him. So you can't just ignore that, particularly as he got up and was remonstrating with the referee. I mean, he might have used his loaf and said, just give the goal and get on with it, because he must have known that if Haaland was getting penalised, then he was getting penalised for the foul on Haaland, and that was the initial foul. That was Dogzo preventing denying an obvious goal.
The only reason he was getting to the ball was because he pulled Haaland back in the first place. If he hadn't pulled him back, Haaland would have got the goal anyway.
Well, exactly. That's we remember. Tom's with us.
Yeah, we remember him. Whatever happened to the spirit of the law with referees when they'd go, "No, they would have let that go, and that goal would have stood." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But getting back to the Romero thing, I've seen a lot of these tackles where players are a bit cute. I mean, if you're going to give one out to Matty Cash or Joe Linton, fair play, because if any two players deserve to get a kick, it's them. But what Romero did, he played the ball and the player. If he'd have kept his studs down, the worst it would have given away would have been a free kick, if he kept his studs away. But he's done this a few times in his tackles and he's got away with it. I've seen other players get away with it, but it was a red. There's no, I'm not going to defend him. And I've been a big fan of Romero, but I'm not going to defend him.
No. Tom, good evening. Welcome to the show. Wayne, as we say in Scotland, the Waynes are in bed now, are they?
Yes, they are.
We're talking about Romero's tackle. I'm going to talk about a bit more about him in terms of his longer term position or not with the club. But the question I'm talking to the boys about is there's not really any question by anyone who knows football that it's a red card.
Yeah, I mean, it's difficult. He does get ball and then he gets man, but he does this all the time where he just seems to go through with excessive force in his challenges. Like he did it. Look, we all at the time against Chelsea when we lost 4-1 under Ange Postecoglou is who we are, mate. Game, it's exactly the same tackle. He gets the ball and then follows through straight into the man. And
Mm.
don't get me wrong, when you're swinging hard to the ball, it's hard to stop your foot, but it just seems silly to me that he's done it. Like, why give the referee a decision to make?
Yeah.
Like, all because what Romero likes to do is to leave a mark on a man. He likes to go into tackle strong because he thinks that means that players are going to hesitate when he comes near them again. But it's unfortunately, he has got a reputation. Whether that reputation's earned or not, whether that reputation is based on the fact that he's Argentinian, whether the reputation is based on anything, he has a reputation, and he's just leaned into it. He's given the media, he's given the referee everything that they wanted from him by putting in such a strong, stupid challenge when he didn't even need to. Like, the ball was there to be won. He won the ball. He didn't need to go in as strong as what he did, and give the referee a decision to make.
Adrian, let me bring you back in then, because I obviously cut you short to get Tom into the show. Romero has a real nasty streak in him. I
don't mind the nasty streak if it's controlled. I mean, he also has a habit of kicking Brazilians. That's probably because he's Argentine, which Thomas nearly alluded to. I mean, you look at Joe Linton. You know, you look at Sade, you look at, and you look at the bust up at the end of the 2-2 at Newcastle with the Brazilian in midfield for
Guimarães.
Guimarães.
Right?
Yeah.
Again, there is definitely something there. This South American edge against South Americans. It's a bit of a North London derby thing between these guys, you know? So there is that. He wants to. I think it's deliberate. I think he wants to leave a bit on the player, not get sent off. But like Tom alluded to, you know, this is what you get, and you know, it's part of the dark arts when other teams do it. Look at Sergio Romero; he's been sent off more times than you could even think of, like over the top, you know. But yeah, I mean, it's a shame because he's such a quality footballer. If he could keep his head, you know, a bit better.
Both games, the Chelsea game that Tom alluded to, and mentioned, didn't allude to it at all. He mentioned it in the game yesterday. Both were Michael Oliver. He needed VAR for the Chelsea one, but he saw perfectly good view and straight out with a red card yesterday. But the thing about this. Let's bring you back inside, was that those were games we were well in. In fact, we were beating Chelsea at the point he got sent off. All right, I think Udogie went off in the second half and we were down to 9. But these were games that we were well in, and his lack of discipline has possibly cost us 2 wins. Who knows? It's speculation. Of course, it's speculation. But we were beating Chelsea at the time, and as anyone who missed the top of the show, we introduced it, saying about how well we were doing until Romero went off.
I think he's, he does. He has cost us games before. Like you said yourself, Ian, it's speculation whether or not we would have won it, but. I mean, there was a point yesterday where Man United's first goal from the corner that come out to Mbuemo, we had no players on the edge of the box there. If Romero had actually been on that pitch, that had been one more man in the box, so someone would have probably been able to come out to the edge of the area and stop that chance. So, I think we'll never know if he cost us the whole game, but in my eyes, he definitely cost us that goal because we were one man down, so we didn't have a man on the edge of the box for Mbuemo to score.
Let's get to the nub of this, Cal. Let me bring you in first. I'll go round. I'll finish with you on its side. Is Romero fit to be captain, or is he a liability, Cal?
I mean, apparently he's a good man manager. He leads the team on the training pitch in backroom discussions, but realistically, there's too many question marks over him. And if you are a captain, you're meant to lead by example. So as an example, a red card every other game at the moment and losing 9 games already. I mean, what is it? 4 games he's suspended now, got 3 before, and then got a double yellow as well before. So that's 8 games he's missed through suspension this year or is going to. So For me, I think if I had any brain, I would take it away from him. But I bet one of the reasons why he signed a new contract was because he was going to become captain. I think that's the caveat of the contract, and that's what they're stuck with. And the problem is with that, and obviously, Ian, you know from doing HR law, if that's a clause in it, that's a legal minefield to get out of if that's part of an employment contract as well. So that might be why he's remained it so long.
I mean, we talked about this last week, or last week's show with Romero, and frankly, I'm sick to death of talking about Romero. My view, Tom, is come the summer, get shot. We've got Dragusin, who's looked all right since he came in. Danso, the boy Vuskovic is coming. We don't need a liability like Romero at the club anymore.
I think, irrespective of if we want him there, I'm not sure Romero wants to be here. I think it's getting to the point where it's almost mutual in that terms. Like, don't get me wrong, like, I think he is a top quality defender, and I want us to be keeping our best players, and I want us to be, thing. But the one thing I've always criticised Spurs in the past for is, not cashing out when the time was right on our best players to help rebuild and restart. And maybe this summer is the perfect time to cash out on Romero and rebuild and restart. And as great as a player as I think he can be, and he can win us games, he proved that against Newcastle. That's when you get the good side of Romero. But the problem is like I said, he's like last week, he's either a 10 out of 10 or he's a 1 out of 10. There's nothing in between, and I just want my centre backs to be a consistent 6 to 8 out of 10 each week, rather than okay, they might win me a game, but they also might cost me a game as well. And I think his reputation is a bit harsh in comparison to, okay, since he's been at Spurs, he's had 6 red cards since he's been at Spurs, so 6 red cards in 5 seasons basically, which is not atrocious, but it's not great either. But I worked out earlier that in terms of like the amount of games he's missed through suspensions, and the amount of games he would have been able to play, he misses basically 15% of Spurs Premier League games because of suspensions. So you're basically accepting at the start of the season that Romero at most is only going to play 32 games of a 38-game season, and that's not to take into account the fact that he's got a bit of a patchy injury record and stuff as well. So for me, again, if we get offered decent money for him, I would absolutely sell. Which I hate saying, because I think he's a good player, and I want to caveat that, like, he is a great player, and if we can have a motivated Romero who doesn't go into tackles like he's been sort of going into them a bit recklessly, then I'd absolutely keep him. But I just think I don't think he wants to be here, and I think we're seeing that with his performances on the pitch. So we should cash out.
Adrian, what's your take?
I differ on that. I mean, Tom could be right, but I differ on that. You don't sign a new contract extension if you don't want to be at the football club. He's shown in the past, this is why he's such a contradiction in terms. He got concussed at Brentford when Vicario played his first game, wanted to stay on the field, did ligaments in his foot and his toe and all that, wanted to stay on the field. He's plagued by his ill recently, wanted to stay on the field, wanted to play for the club. I get the angst, and fans are going to like throw every angle they can at him that's negative because of this, right? He is a leader. Players do look to him on the field to progress the ball. People might argue he progresses it slowly at times. I think he's a good leader, but he can be reckless, can't he? He can be reckless. Should it come up or the situation worsen? I mean, if he gets 2 more yellow cards, he's got 10, but that's before game 32, and he'd get another 2-match ban. But by the time he comes back on this ban, as John at XG's from lads at Tottenham said in our WhatsApp group, he'd have to get them 2 yellow cards in 3 games. But like, he's more than capable of getting them though. But I mean, yeah, I mean, I think we're with a lot of things with this club, we're gonna have to wait and see what happens in the summer. If Poch comes back, he's Argentinian. That's another scenario anyway. So So we're gonna have to wait and see, because we speculate about these things, but like with this club, you never know what's going to happen and when they're not.
Going to talk about Poch towards the certainly the second half of the show. Certainly that interview's gone out this evening. There's one from Jimmy. Romero has missed 70 games since joining. Has now had 4 more and not back until 15th of March, but 2 more yellows get him another ban this season. Si, what's your take on that?
Yeah, he's a liability, isn't he? Regarding the captaincy, I mean, I do partly agree with Adrian there that he's the only candidate in that squad at the moment to be captain. I do wonder why he signed a new contract, because it was a shock. I expected that, as I'm pretty sure many others did. I didn't expect him to sign a new contract. That came out of the blue. You wonder if he was given promises and told, we're going to, pump a lot of money into the team, which hasn't happened yet. But if he goes, or if you strip him of the captaincy, we haven't got a queue of players who are, in my eyes, worthy of being a captain. We haven't got like another Ledley King or a Steve Perryman or someone, who can. He's the only candidate in my eyes.
Chat. I'm going to bring Adrian in because he's got his hand up like a good boy at the back.
We do have early.
Hang on. Let me put the question to you. There's stuff in the chat. Van der Ven and Paulinho's name's been mentioned. I have to think both of them would be a far better captain than.
Well, Van der Ven's vice captain already. Van der Ven's
is vice.
Sorrow's had a go and all, but guys, don't forget. I know it's a bit early, but Conor Gallagher was captain for Poch at Chelsea.
Yeah.
So he's obviously got those qualities, but he's just beginning to show in recent games what he can actually bring to his Gallagher. I don't think fans at this moment in time would pick him because we just haven't seen enough from him. But Poch obviously did, and I'd back Poch, but I think Gallagher's an option.
I mean, Madders was obviously captain at Leicester as well. The problem is our vice captains at the moment. Maddison out injured, Ben Davies injured, Van der Ven, and then Flappy Hands. So, I mean, if we want to appoint a clown in goal with it and have another rerun of that, then thank God. But no.
Tom, I'm going to move on in a second from Romero, but it's obviously something that's certainly got me riled. And looking at the comments, he's got no support whatsoever in the chat, which I think is interesting. As you know, there's 115 of you on various platforms, and granted, not everyone's on YouTube, but I haven't seen a single comment in his support. The question I have in my mind is that it seemed under Ange, he I won't say lost, but he'd certainly reduced that propensity for making those rash follow-through tackles that were getting him into serious trouble. And he looked a better player for it. And he really respected Ange. I wonder if part of the problem is he simply doesn't respect Thomas Frank.
Yes, that may be the case, but if you're a professional, then surely you can maintain your head without, your manager being a certain individual. Like if he doesn't like Thomas Frank, then fine, but you should still be a professional about things, and especially if you're going to be the captain. The captain's meant to lead the way, irrespective of what else is going on around. Not like. For me, I think he was better under Ange, but as we've already mentioned, he got sent off in the 4-1 at Chelsea, which was under Ange anyway. So, he was better, but he's still I think this season he's been probably at his worst in terms of the amount of yellow cards he's picked up and now red cards, and I mean he's almost lucky at Newcastle, whatever game it was, he got sent off in where he got the 2 yellow cards, he got the red, so those 2 yellow cards I think get wiped off, so that didn't count towards his total of yellow cards. But I think there's just too much baggage with him, in terms of not just those tackles and the suspensions. He does get quite a few little niggly injuries. And then if he's not doing that, he's posting on Instagram. Like, and all of his words on Instagram, all of the things that he's been saying that got him a lot of backing from the Spurs fans are completely meaningless now when he puts performances in like that. Yeah, okay, a lot of fans were like, yeah, stick it to the board, fine. But then you go and drop a clanger like that after 29 minutes in the next game. Like, what? That's just not the example I want from the captain of my football team.
Before we move on, has anybody got anything they'd like to add to what we've said? Because I think we may, Adrian, you do, yeah?
Yeah, 1 point on this. I mean, I've been banging on about having 3 in midfield with Xavi up front. If you had that extra body into midfield, Romero wouldn't have to go into places where he shouldn't have to necessarily go. He's virtually coming halfway into midfield to make some of these challenges, right? When
Adrian, I don't think that changes whatever the system.
No,
that is
in
his
his
nature.
nature. It might not, but I mean, no, it might not.
His nature is to jump. If it's a 70-30 ball and he is the 30, he is going for that challenge. And Palhinha's not too much different in that respect, but Palhinha actually wins the ball most of the time. He actually makes those challenges. Whereas Romero goes into every challenge with the intention of leaving a mark on the man as well. Like, and you know what? I respect that in some instances, because actually, that can make attackers then avoid him. That can make his game a bit easier for the rest of the game. But the problem is you need to know when to use it and when not to use it. I don't think it matters what system you play. Romero is always going to go for a 70-30 ball when he is the 30.
Anyone else? Because I'm going to move it on otherwise.
No, move it on here. Move it on.
Yeah. Let's be honest, guys. Tottenham are in crisis. And I think after the weekend's results with West Ham and Palace both winning and us getting beat, we have to talk about the possibility of relegation. That's the table. I hope you can all see that. Yeah. I mean, it could have been worse when you look at last weekend. If the games had finished at half time last weekend, West Ham would have been within 5 points behind us. Given this week's, it would have been 2. The fact is, it's 6, and it's effectively 7 because their goal differences. I actually can't read it on my laptop. I don't know why. I can't see that clearly.
They're minus 17, and we're 0.
So it's a 17 goal turnaround. So that's not likely to be overcome. So call it 7 points, but they're on form and we're off form, and 7 points doesn't last that long. If you're as us, we're not winning any football matches. Crystal Palace had a good win today. Forest are still a poor side, and Brighton appear to be getting sucked in. But let's start with you again, Si. We're in a serious relegation struggle here unless we can start winning some games and winning some games now.
It's worrying when you look at that table, especially with, we've got still Newcastle at home and then Arsenal, obviously. It is worrying. Me personally, I don't think we will go down. I think we'll get those few wins that we need, but I think there are worse teams down there than us. I mean, you mentioned Brighton, and I don't think they've won a game since November, the beginning of November, possibly. So they're on a bit of a free fall. Palace, we're struggling and obviously got the win today. But once again, that was against Brighton. So, yeah, I'm still confident we won't go down. But, I mean, with everything we've got, with the infrastructure we've got, the amount of money this club makes from off-field activities, looking at that, we shouldn't be anywhere near that position, really. So the board have loads of questions to answer, don't they?
Cal?
Where do I start?
Yeah. Start at the beginning, finish at the end, and take your time in between.
Yeah, realistically, like Si said, we shouldn't be in this situation. Like Brighton, they've not won since November. We've only had 2 wins since October. We are gradually being sucked down the table further and further. And by us being so piss poor in January when we should have gotten points against West Ham, against Sunderland, against Brentford, people like that, it's a laughing stock because now we are in a difficult run. So yeah, okay, Man United, if we'd have won 2 of our other games in January, we'd have taken that Man United result. Carrick's gotten playing very well, playing natural football, looks so much better than us with a team that is probably crapper than ours and older than ours at the moment. But realistically, the points we're trying to take at the moment, we're taking them around relegation rivals at the moment. So we've got to play against against Crystal Palace, against Newcastle, against Fulham, who are only just a little bit above this as well. So these are all points they want as well in there. So realistically, it's very difficult. And with Frank not knowing what team to play, where we stand, I mean, we can't poo-poo the fact that we've not got a full squad because we've got enough players out injured that could field a second lineup that is ultimately probably 9 times better than our first 11 at the moment in terms of players. But realistically, we are being dragged down further and further. And even if we didn't get that point against City last weekend, we'd be sitting 16th right now and only ahead on goal difference. That's the only thing that's keeping us ahead at the moment is a mildly positive goal difference. And it's not where we expect to be, is it, within reason of a club that's our size? And there was a really interesting comment what someone made in the chat earlier. I don't know who it was, but they said, are we no longer a Big Six club? Are we so far out of it now that we're nowhere near it? Well, no, arguably we are a Big Six club based on resources, based on the squad we've got. It's just we have played so piss poor in the Premier League and in cup competitions this year that we need to do something different or we will be threatened by relegation. And it's a joke to consider our club is in this state.
Ian, can I just...
Yes, go on then, please, yeah.
Looking at that table that you put up there and the remaining fixtures, over 50% of those remaining fixtures are against those teams in the bottom that are on the screen now. So they are massive, massive games. And those are the games that I think we can win against them. So, yeah, I am... Now I've seen the full remaining fixtures. I think we'll be okay, but it's still, nowhere near where we should be, to be honest.
Yeah. Sorry, Tom, I mean, at the end of the day, we shouldn't be relying on other teams being worse than us to stay up.
Oh no. I mean, it's a bit annoying that for 2 seasons in a row we've been kind of flirting with relegation, really. It's just ridiculous. I mean, look, Newcastle aren't in good form at the moment, and especially away from home, they're not great. Arsenal, let's hope that form does go out the window and we can, try and do something there. I think these next 2 games, like if we pick up points in these next 2 games, and when I say points, I mean if we can get wins in the next 2 games or a win and a draw or whatever, really do think that should hopefully turn our season around. Look, we're on 29 points. 40 is always labelled as the safety mark, so we only need 11 more points to get there. And looking at those fixtures, you would hope that there's games there that we should pick up 11 points in with that, you're looking at 4 wins, and I'm looking at teams like, we've got to play Palace, we've got to play Forest, we've got to play Sunderland away. And yeah, I just think we should be fine.
Wolves. I mean, we should go. I mean, hopefully we'll have some players back. For example, we should be able to go to Wolves and beat them, and fucking hell, everybody else does. Pardon my language.
Yeah, but we got fucked by them at White Hart Lane. We only got literally that last-minute point by Paulinho doing some weird fluke scissor kick.
Yeah.
By the way, May's fixtures aren't on this list. We've got Everton to play last game, home match of the season, and there's a couple more fixtures. I couldn't fit them in.
You've got Chelsea as well towards the end, but
great.
Yeah, I mean, it's frustrating. We just got to hope that we get players back soon and that things start to click and gel and stuff. Adrian,
I mean, is it Newcastle on lousy form? You were talking before we went on air about us getting 4 points. Can we get 3 against Newcastle and even 1 against Arsenal? Or does Dr. Tottenham come to the rescue?
Look, with Spurs, if we turn up with our A game, we get points. It's that simple. If we make sloppy mistakes, I mean, even during this season, even during some of the games, I mean, I agree and disagree with Carl on some of the points that saying like we've been awful. In some of these games, we haven't played that badly, but we just let in sloppy goals. And I mean, real sloppy goals. And that's the luck of the draw, the rub of the green. When it goes that way, it goes that way. But then you've got to battle harder and work harder when you're going for a sticky period, And so let's put this back up for you, in. Right. So, I mean, I don't see why we can't beat Newcastle. I'd love us to beat Arsenal. It's the one fixture we all want to win, isn't it? Right. So, I'd love us to beat Arsenal. And to make, and even on Tom's point of 40 points, well, that would be new because in the last 6 seasons and going back, I think the team that's finished third bottom went down with 35 or 36 points. 2 wins out of them last 13 games virtually gets us safe. 2, 3 would do it easy. It's 9 points. It's 38. I don't think you'll need it. I looked at West Ham's fixtures. I mean, like they've got Man United next. Then they've got Bournemouth who beat Liverpool at their place. And then they've got Liverpool. So when we look at our fixtures and we think, I haven't looked at Forest, I looked at West Ham because they were third from bottom, think, hang about, who these guys got to play? I mean, every game to their fans is going to look hard for West Ham. They had a bit of a run 1 game, but then they lost to Chelsea. Then they won. They're like win 1, lose 1 sort of thing at the moment. So, I mean, I'm always a bit more positive than most fans. I mean, if we were within 3 points of the third from bottom team, then I'd say we're in a relegation battle. I don't think we are. We could fall into one, but I don't think we are at present. I think we'll be fine. I think we'll get out of it. It'll be nervy, but we'll get out of it. What isn't nervy about Spurs?
No, tell me about it. I would say good evening. I presume my son-in-law Steve's on, but my daughter Nat's watching. We watched that game yesterday, and it was hard. It was really hard watching. But there you go.
I think there's just sorry, Ian.
Please.
I think there's just Wolves and Burnley. I think are gone. They're getting relegated. So it's only that one position. So I do feel positive, like Adrian, that, there's Forest. I know a few Forest season ticket holders, and they say that Sean Dyche, they're abysmal at the moment. So, it's not obviously great us relying on other teams, but I honestly think because it's only that one position, I can't see Burnley and Wolves pulling out of that. We'll be all right. We'll be all right.
I mean, realistically, Cal's gone. Tom, realistically, it's between West Ham, Brighton, Crystal Palace, and Tottenham for that third relegation spot, isn't it? Unless something dramatic happens and someone else gets sucked in.
Yeah. And the thing, I was just trying to, if results went really horrendously over the next few weeks, actually we could actually be in or level points with West Ham by the time we play Arsenal, depending on how bad results go for us and stuff. But that Newcastle have got an awful away from home record. I think it's similar, if not worse, than our home record. So it's, instead of like the immovable object versus the irresistible force or whatever it is, it's literally like, think of the two worst things of that coming together. It's going to be an interesting game on Tuesday. But if we can pick up a win there, I think that just settles everything down completely.
It's the Dr. Tottenham bit that
hopefully it works in our favour rather than the
I mean, this is so right. If we score that 96-minute winner instead of them, that is they've got 3 points less, and we got 3 points more, and it isn't a discussion, is it? It just isn't a discussion. It's absolutely right, Jimmy.
Hopefully it won't be Dr. Tottenham. It'll be Nurse Newcastle instead.
Jimmy, me and Ian went down in that 77 team. I was following Spurs in the second division with Ian.
Yeah, I think that's right. But there was a gradual deterioration from 74, 75, 76. Relegation came as a blessed relief. I mean, this club is still European Europa League winners. I mean, I'm genuinely hoping we can get out of this and we need a complete reset. But we are going to come on to a lot of that. One thing I will say though, there is no such thing as too good to go down. All right, let's get that off the screen. Another injury yesterday. Cal's not here, so I'll bring you in, Tom. Udogie injured, and you hope it's not another long-term thing. I mean, God almighty, how cursed are we? But what did you make of Sousa's little cameo?
From what I saw, which wasn't much as I was working, and it's more highlights and stuff, but he seemed all right. He seemed like he wanted to try and take on his man, and from the little bits that I saw. But it's hard, isn't it? A sort of 35-minute cameo in a game that we're already losing and we're down to 10 men. So it's hard to judge anything really from that. The assumption is that he's going to start against Newcastle because I think Udogie has done another muscle injury. And again, this lies in the question of, what's the future for Udogie? This is just ridiculous how many injuries this guy seems to get.
Yeah. Adrian, I mean, I thought he looked really good. Plenty of pace, typical attacking fullback. That's the want of today's football. But I worried that certainly I can't remember, was it Diallo, whoever it was, turned him on that on the goal line. I just thought, defensively, is he strong enough?
We haven't seen enough. Sousa's got the afterburners. He's got no shortage of pace. I mean, and Spencer's supposed to be the second fastest player at the club after VDV, but he's got no shortage of space. He got forward, but there was no one to give the ball to when he got forward. He was a whippet down that left-hand side. But obviously, we want defenders that can defend first, man. And just on Udogie, because I'm such a big fan, my heart goes out to him. I thought he was our best player, up to the point that he got injured. I mean, he was giving us that dynamic thrust down that left-hand side, which you need when you're in an away game. He's got the physicality and all that. He even tried, I think he put the cross for Gallagher's miss, didn't he? And he goes off, and I'm thinking, oh, no, not another one, because I actually thought him, and we've all been on Vicario's case as well, slightly off topic, but I thought Vicario had a very good game, in goal, because he made some good saves. But, Sousa, I think we've done well to get him for that amount of money. Because, I mean, he was with Santos, and he was a relegation threatened team, and they stayed up. And then we've got him. So I think he'll handle the pressure. He looks strong enough. He's certainly fast enough. So, I like the look of him, but it's too early, and it's too early to judge.
Yeah. A little comment by Nita I will put up. I was a young mum when we went down in 77. Not as painful as childbirth, but it hurt. Yeah. Although, funnily enough, it's just not the way football is now. It was something of a relief to go down because we was so uncompetitive. And there were like 18 and 22,000 that you could see the crush barriers watching, and then we went up and we started winning matches, and there was 30 odd thousand in the ground, which was pretty well anyway.
Well, all we really had then here, the team was poor. Let's be fair. Chivers was. I mean, all we had was Perriman, Pratt, and Hoddle. And Perriman and Hoddle were young anyway. They were young. So the rest of the team were poor.
Si, did you get a look?
Say again, Ian. Sorry.
Did you get a decent look at Sousa? What did you think?
He didn't look afraid. He didn't look scared. I agree with what Tom said. And Adrian, really, bringing him on when we're losing down to 10 men, he can only do what he can there, can't he? And it is a bit too early, but I know that Ancelotti's been watching him for the Brazil squad when he was at Santos as their number one left back potentially. So he's got a lot of promise, but we've seen a lot of Brazilian players come over, and I mean, it wasn't young, but Polina was hyped up and everything when he came to us, and it didn't work out for him. So it's tough for a young lad to come over, total new surroundings. But the next few games are going to show us a lot about him, and he's an ideal left back for football now, isn't he? He's an attacking fullback. He's got a good cross. Crossing's one of his best abilities, I've heard. So, he was a bright little cameo. So let's see what he can give us against Newcastle, really.
Mm. Yeah, it's hard to argue with that comment, Jimmy. I must be honest. Let's just one question before I'm going to move on to Newcastle and then a certain Mr. Pochettino and Thomas Frank before we close up. Might not be a particularly long show tonight. Drag us in for a bit. I mean, certainly in some of the chats, I'll give her a credit as you'll be watching. Queen Ellie was complaining about that substitution. For the life of me, I couldn't see what else he could do. To keep it tight at the back. Anyone got any comment on that before I move on?
No, like yourself, Ian. When I was watching it on the telly, and when they mentioned about Dragison's going to come on, I instantly thought Odegaard would be the one coming off. Like you said, I just couldn't really see anyone else coming off, to be honest. I think it was, the sort of correct decision to bring Odegaard off. I know he'd have given us something, if we'd a chance to get an equaliser, but, I just couldn't see anyone else, really.
I think we were all thinking, weren't we, that he goes off, okay, you're losing Odegaard, who's shown good form. He's another one who's improved, still developing, but has looked better recently, as is tell when he's come on. But, when I was watching, I was thinking, well, okay, we still got a chance here. It's only one goal and we can get a set piece, and we're dangerous at set pieces. So I hadn't given up the ghost at 1-0, because I really give up the ghost anyway. Right? But I thought, well, we can get, but who are you going to take off? There's no one else you could take off. There's no one else. It's going to be a forward. All clubs do it. As soon as they get a sending off, a forward is sacrificed, a winger or a forward.
Yeah. Cal, you're back, Cal. You okay?
Yeah, sorry, I had to go and order a load of ballast and cement for a job tomorrow.
No, that's okay. Just checking everything's all right. Great. Well, we're talking about the substitutions. Actually, a comment from Jimmy. I was going to mention about the other substitutions, but the question I've got, which I'm glad you've come on because I don't know anyone else that have better information than you. Any news on any of our long-term injuries? Of anyone coming back in the reasonably near future?
Well, it looks like Kulusevski, they're still monitoring because apparently he was on the ground training on the grass and had a flare up in his leg. So they're trying to see whether he might need surgery again or not, because there's swelling that's come up around the knee and ankle joint again. Madison is still April at the moment. Richie and Spence the closest. They could be available for most likely North London Derby, but Bentancur's out, Kudus is out long term until minimum end of March, and Davis is probably done with his career at Spurs at the moment, realistically. Bergvall is still touch and go. I mean, we're probably looking at maybe March for him. Danso's the weird one because he met with a specialist this week and they're trying to work out whether it's 3 weeks injury or 3 months injury, because these tendons in your foot when you do them and the ligaments have a very temperamental way of not exposing themselves fully at the time. So that one can be a long-term injury as well. Udogie is going to be assessed by a specialist this week to see what's going on with his leg. Porro's likely to be maybe North London Derby, maybe a little bit longer.
Please tell me Laughing Gas has picked up an injury.
No, Laughing Gas turns out that he's now got Thomas Frank on the Laughing Gas and Christian Romero on it as well. So that's why we've got rash decisions, i.e. with the banner on here, drags him for Odebear. I mean, if I can just come in quickly on that, Ian. That made it makes logical sense theoretically bringing on a centre-back. But we had Paulinia on the field who had done very well at centre-back with Dragusin last week against City in that game. So realistically, we could have done them two in centre-back, Sarr and Gallagher drop a little bit deeper, with Xavi and Odebear playing as 10s and Solanke up there, with then Gray sort of dropping into that area. There was no need to bring on Dragusin yesterday because ultimately he didn't do much to help us, did he? To be honest, he was very reticent ball watching and was lethargic at best.
Adrian could have played like a 4-4-1, as Cal's suggesting, or a 4. It wouldn't have been a 4-2-2-1,
isn't it?
Yeah, 4-2-2,
conservative,
4-2-2-1.
Especially when we're down to 10 men. I mean, like, you don't see Frank sort of going all out for the game and losing and shipping 5 goals, do you? I mean, so even with Dragusin in there, Vicario had earned his wages, didn't he? So yeah, I mean, that was just a shame of it. You know, we were all right until the sending off, and we were growing. We may still have lost, who knows? But you know, and actually, even with the 2-0 result, the second goal was a shinner, right? So I mean, even at 1-0, we weren't out of it. It took a long while for them to get that second goal.
Sorry, there's a comment from. Sorry, go on, Cal, if you want to speak there.
Just a quick one on the goal that they scored straight after Dragusin came on. And I know me and Si covered it yesterday, and we was very frustrated by it. This bollocks of zonal marking is an absolute bane of football, because realistically, how when Burmo had such the space on the edge of our box to shoot. I mean, most of our goals are conceded from outside or on the edge of the box against us this year. Everyone can shoot from outside the box apart from us. And realistically, no one was there to pick him up. I mean, Kobe Maynard played a very good ball over from that corner for the assist, but realistically, it's a complete and utter waste of time. When, I mean, my dad used to play basketball, and he used to say, you man mark, but you mark the man properly, and you do it in such a way where you go and mark the man with the appropriate individual for it. But now the way that it is, that either you don't pick someone up or you mark a zone. Well, who's marking the edge of the box? Was that meant to be Romero for it? Because, I mean, usually he's on the touchline. So who's been given the duty by Heitinger or whatever on the coaching staff to mark that external area?
I remember the late, great Terry Wogan as a broadcaster who always liked to take the mickey out of some of the football commentators, despite him being a broadcaster himself. I mean, he used to call Karl-Heinz Rummenigge Rummenigges and stuff like that. But one of his comments was such and such a fine Spacewell. What number was Spacewell? You know, And I mean, I'm with you. I hate zonal marking. Space never scored a goal in its life. You pick up a man, you mark your man, you win your individual battle. They don't score. Or am I being simplistic, Tom?
It's hard to say because in theory, man marking, yeah, you win your individual battle, then you're fine. The issue, every team does zonal marking. Like every team does zonal marking. So surely if every single team is doing it, that shows that zonal marking in its sense, works. Before zonal marking came in, everyone used to man mark. Did players used to still score corners? Yes. So I don't think, saying man marking is better than zonal or zonal. I think you just got to use your brain, and in those situations and what I don't understand is we've conceded a lot of goals on the edge of our box. So fundamentally, there's something wrong with the coaching about how we defend the edge of our box, irrespective of if that's man marking or zonal marking. Because zonal marking, if you actually break it down, is you split the penalty area up into basically 6 areas, and you have 6 players that control one of those areas. Now, one of those areas is the edge of the box. So zonal marking, if done properly, should cover all of those spaces, all of those places, but we're clearly just not doing it properly. I mean, I have to stand next to my dad every game, and he absolutely detests zonal marking. And I don't think
I can vouch for that too.
I don't think a game goes past where he doesn't scream and shout at why are you not marking the man, why you're not with a man, and the other thing he always moans about is why we don't leave a player up the pitch and stuff like that as well.
Yeah.
But
I only saw it, but did you see what Chelsea did in the League Cup? I didn't see the game. I was at the radio station. But
the thing is, Ian, my Sunday league team, when we was actually semi-decent, we actually used to leave 4 players up the pitch, because what helped was one of our defenders was 6'6", clean everything up, and was very, very good in the air. But we used to leave 4 players up the pitch, and the confusion it caused, and you would get the odd time where that team would go, do you know what? Well, actually, we'll have a bunch of men unmarked in the box, but we also made sure that the people that were still in the box were marking their zones. And were responsible for getting the ball out if it came into their area, and we scored a lot of goals from counter attacks in that situation. We was also offside quite a lot in that situation because people forgetting about staying onside.
But with your dad,
I mean, zonal marking works, but it's no good if your players stand there like they're caught in the headlights when a ball's
no. So
another thing I get is like with other teams, with us, we should get tighter from zonal marking. I mean, it's another bugbear of your dad's at throw-ins, because we seem to give other teams all the room in the world. And when you win the throw, you've only got 9 outfield players to their 10, but they don't give us any time. And how many times we lose the ball from throw-ins, and it's supposed to be an advantage? I mean, that is where these coaches at Spurs. I'm not a coach. I've just watched football for a lot of decades, like Ian has and Si has and Kevin, you have and all that. And I look at things and I understand why Kev gets exasperated, because I see things and I just think, why aren't we coached to deal with that?
It may be an age thing, and I played. Kev and I, Tom's dad used to play football when we were 11 years old, and now we're getting our old age pension. So it was a long time ago. But shut up, Callum. Adrian, I'm going to come on to a couple of questions, but Adrian, we've got over 150 watching. Would you like to give the channel a little plug and tell people to like and subscribe and stuff?
Yeah, I mean, guys out there, 150 odd of you watching us on various platforms, we really appreciate your support, the fact you bother to come to us. What would really help us and help the algorithm, if you're watching on non-YouTube, platforms, and you could come over to our YouTube page channel and give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel, because that all helps the algorithm. we have got a Facebook channel. We do have an XCOM channel as well. We've got a WhatsApp as well for people that we use as a sync to get guests on. We do 3 shows a week. Usually it's Tuesday, but it'll be Wednesday this week because we're playing Tuesday. So that's a 9 o'clock show. Friday's a 10 o'clock show because we're trying to attract the American Canadians on the East Coast. And Sunday Ian's show varies, between 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock, whatever, according if he's here or in Spain or whatever.
I will give. What have I done with? Oh, I haven't put it up. I'll come back to it because I
got so big up to everyone in the chat for your questions and comments, as always. I mean, we try to get through them. We put them up now on the side here now because when the shows are going well, when we do get a lot of you, we can't answer all your questions, so the host will take the relevant ones usually. Right? We're not
usually put a question up.
A big up to Peter Kagas in Australia, mate.
Peter, hi. Good to see you, and thank you very much. And I had a question. I absolutely had a question for everybody, the panel, and I've lost it because I gave Adrian. I've lost my concentration.
Is that your old age kicking in, Ian? Is that your Alzheimer's coming in, mate?
You can shut the fuck up, Callum. But yes, it is. There was some comments, one from Jimmy as well, and other comments about the substitutions side, the late ones, Tel, Bissouma and Moani for Polinia, Gallagher and Solanke. I mean, just to me, it felt like deck chairs on the Titanic. And of course, a couple of minutes after the substitutions, minutes after the substitutions, we conceded the second and ultimately decisive goal.
Yeah, I mean, those 3 were possibly the only, bar the young lads, the only substitutes on the bench that could have come on. I think, to be fair, Ian, it was just a case of resting their legs. They played, nearly an hour with 10 men. I think we were still obviously 1-0 down, but I think he'd given up the ghost a little bit on that game, potentially with those substitutions, and was looking more towards a Newcastle game. But yeah, as soon as them 3 come on for Polinia, Gallagher and Solanke, you pretty well knew we weren't going to get back into it then. And I mean, what can we say about Moani? He's just absolutely non-existent, isn't he? The sooner his loan finishes and he goes back, the better, to be honest, Ian.
Adrian, you want to comment on that?
Yeah, I mean, I like what I said Moani at Frankfurt. He goes to PSG, donate his straps there, really, and then goes out on loan to Juve, who now have got Vlahovic leaving in the summer, so he'll probably get linked with us again. But it's not happening. He already has, Adrian. Is he all right? He's got a few goals in Europe, Moani. Against PSG and Frankfurt, he scored, didn't he? I mean, there's a player there, but it's not happening. And I didn't expect it to happen because I didn't expect him to get the sort of service he would get when we're 1-0 down. I mean, my only hope we'd get a corner or a free kick and get something from that, but which didn't happen. We should all be grateful. Solanke's come back, and actually I've been very impressed with Solanke and his play. I mean, last year I said, well, he got 15 goals in all comps last year. And I said, well, he's got to do it in the second season and show us, because I said, we haven't really seen it, and fans were still Solanke and all that. And I was a bit, we've seen better strikers at this football club, Ian, over the decades than Solanke and Richie, and I think he's done better than expected for a player who's not back to full fitness. 4 goals. I think he might be the one who saves our season, actually, because things happen when Solanke's on the field. They do happen around, and he makes things happen, which is what you want for a striker. I'd like to see a bit more of that. Forget how we played last season when he actually cut in from the left, got to the right edge of the penalty box, and shot and scored in the corner. I thought, that's Harry Kane. You know what I mean? I'd like to see him do a bit more of that. If he's got other levels, all well and good. So Gallagher, he's still settling in. He has started to show a bit, actually, recently. And Paulina, he'll be assessed at the end of the season. I mean, I wonder if we're going to bring bodies in if he's going to be, if they're going to, I don't see Spurs paying that 30 mil for him. They might talk buying down to 15, but we've got 8 midfielders when everyone's fit. I don't mind 8 because 6, 22 players, it's 2 for each position. 23 is your third goalkeeper. You've got 2 extra positions. So I don't mind 8 midfielders in the modern game. And we need them more than anybody else does. I'm telling you, because our midfield's been pants. But yeah. So I think they weren't. I think Frank was saving it for Newcastle, to be honest with you.
Oh, I hope he's saving something for Newcastle. I'm going to talk about that in a minute. Sorry, the one thing I couldn't find the slide. We've not got a game next week. We are playing in we'll talk about that in a minute. But we haven't got a game next week because it's FA Cup 4th round game day. So rather than just not have a show, I want to have an ownership special. There has been a lot of speculation about Levy selling his shares to a Far Eastern consortium. So I've got a real special panel, that classic anti-Enoch poster Brian Daigle, Billy from Spurs for, it's not Spurs for Chance, it's Spurs for Change. And I'm hoping to get as well, I haven't been able to confirm because he's been away, but Connor from Levynomics as well, to talk about the various issues around the ownership and what have you. And well, I think a lot's going to happen. A lot might depend on what happens on Tuesday night. Si, do you want to? No, Tom, you haven't spoken about this. The substitutions.
He didn't have many players he could bring on, did we? We've kind of already said that. Game was kind of already done. I think the only thing for me is, should he have just done it a little bit earlier with a view to, a bit more rest in the legs for some of the players. There's a lot of sticks we can beat Thomas Frank with, a lot. I don't think many of the decisions that he made in this game are really valid ones that we can, beat him with. I think, unfortunately, the game was lost for him by his cats.
Someone's microphone's gone. Yeah. Rog, I know you were late, my friend. Donald Trump phoned me up and he said, "Sir, this is the greatest show I have ever heard on football. People all over the world are saying, you are the greatest host of the greatest channel of Spurs podcasts anywhere." But we've had an interesting chat. You might want to pick up on it on catch up, certainly about Romero and about the relegation prospects. We remain cautiously optimistic, but we do think that Mr. Romero has burnt his bridges for the very last time with us. Anyone, Cal, do you want to speak before I move on?
Realistically, like you guys have all said, it didn't really have much choice on the subs. We'd already shot ourselves in the foot by taking off an attacking outlet. Moani, all right in Europe, fucking dire in the Premier League. Realistically, Tell doesn't get enough chance to play either, which is a great shame because I think there's a very good player in there. I just think that realistically, he played his hand. Once again, his hand was absolutely wrong, and it just didn't work, to be honest. But he's running the players into the ground, and we don't have a choice. And to be honest, when Balloons gets onto the pitch, then we know we're really up shit creek without a paddle, to be honest.
Yeah. Let's ask a question. I'll start with you, Si. How much longer can Frank have? And I'm coming to a conclusion. We haven't got a game on. We haven't got a game till a week on Sunday after Tuesday, which is, the games have been coming. It's all very well saying, let's sack him after this game on the Saturday, and you've got a European game in Frankfurt on the Tuesday. When are you going to make a change? Then you're back on the Wednesday. You've got another game on the Saturday. If we're going to make a change before the end of the season, unless we win on, or certainly avoid defeat, unless we avoid defeat on Tuesday night, I'm thinking it must be the end of the road for Thomas Frank. I don't know what I'm going to ask, obviously, all my panel, but see what people in the chat think as well.
Yeah, I think I don't think he's going to go personally until the end of the season. I think that will keep him till the end of the season. Obviously, yesterday's defeat, as we've all said, was not on him. I think it's more so, we lose against Newcastle. I think he'll still be in charge. What happens in the Arsenal game, as long as we're not massively embarrassed, I think it's if we'd lose to those teams like Brighton, the teams who are down there with us, if we lose to some of them, they would possibly be forced to push the button and get rid of him.
So my point is, by then it's too late. By then it's too late for anyone to come in and change it.
I just can't see them. I just think Vinay is very stubborn, and he believes in Thomas Frank. Me personally, I just can't see it in. I think he'll be here, and they'll get rid of him at the end of the season. I really
Callum?
do.
Yeah, I'm like most of the guys now. I think realistically, it's got to happen now or never. To be honest, I don't think keeping him on will help. To be honest, so probably Newcastle, maybe the last one, like Adrian alluded to earlier. We've got about 12 days between then and Arsenal game. Is it an international break or some bollocks like that we've got to deal with?
FA Cup.
FA Cup.
Oh, so we've
So
got some time.
The international break in March, right?
So complete waste of time on that one anyway. But we've got 12 days to make a decision. If they're going to make that decision, they need to decide whether they're going to back an interim. It just needs to happen, to be honest, mate. It's a no-brainer now. He cannot be allowed to continue.
Tom?
After the Newcastle game would be the perfect time to do it, because it's 12 days till we play Arsenal. The only problem with that is that that's insinuating that we lose to Newcastle, and I just don't feel like we can afford to lose to Newcastle. If we beat Newcastle, he stays. If we lose to Newcastle, then he probably... I don't think he does go. He should go, but I don't think he does. I just don't think this board has got the minerals to do that. The thing that's making the board look all the more stupid for not having made the decision is Man United. Man United made the decision. They brought an interim in, and they've now won their last 4 games and put themselves right back into not only top 4, but an outside chance of putting a bit of pressure on for the title and stuff like that. And that just goes to show that, as long as you appoint the right person and call it an interim, whatever it is, then you can have that bounce that is needed. And let's face it, we're in a position now where we are looking down rather than up. We're not looking like we're wanting someone to come in to get us a European spot. We're just looking. We want someone to come in and just making sure that we've got Premier League football next year, which is ridiculous because we're only 6-7 points off of the European places, let alone being 6-7 points off of. So a few good wins and you put yourself right back in that thing.
Tom, people have been saying that since October.
Yeah, but this is the thing. Like, if it had been me, I would have sacked him back in January when we lost to West Ham.
Guys,
I was one of the people that was more pro Thomas Frank, and I just would have got rid of him then.
Guys, do you not think it, because of our Champions League run, 4th in the table we ended, that's what's probably keeping him in the job?
Realistically.
Yeah. But what's the point in getting far in the Champions League if you're then playing in the Championship next season?
Yeah, no, I mean, I agree with that. I just think that's the reason they're keeping him on. If we get knocked out the Champions League, then who knows? They might be forced. But I do think that's the way they're looking, and that's why they're keeping him on. My personal point of view.
That's a really worrying comment that I picked up from Warren in the chat. If Frank goes, then 6 or 8 of Brentford backroom staff.
9.
Well, when you say 9, I mean, how many coaches are there? I mean, I'm not worried about medics and ticket.
Cochrane. You got Cochrane, Haslam, Otter, Organson, Jenkins, and a few others. I mean, it's not just coaches, it's data analysts and med staff as well that he brought in with him. And I think 1 or 2 coaches. I mean, that's the recruitment team there. I believe that Seb Tagasada was one of his. I believe he brought him in.
The thing for me, though, right? Those guys have been brought in to do a job of their own right. Yeah. So the coaches, I could understand, but why if Thomas Frank goes, does a data analyst need to be sacked? Why if Thomas Frank goes, does the medic need to be sacked? Like, if they've hired those guys because they think they're good, irrespective of just because Thomas Frank is underperforming, why should they all have to go as well? Like, you bring those guys in because that's the way that you want the club to go. You want it to go down the data analyst route. You want the best medics that you can have. So I don't understand why we would need to sack 9 people just because of Frank.
Unless you're recruiting within and you're sticking with these guys, if you recruit from outside, a new manager might want to bring at least in a couple of his own.
Yeah. I mean, the people that got...
You wouldn't sack them all, obviously, Tom. You know what I mean? But
the people that got promoted internally was Dean Brill and Stuart Lewis. So they both came up from 18s and 21s. Cochrane obviously was at Spurs previously, but has stuck with Frank as his number 2 for it. So you could probably say that you could use Lewis and Brill if he was to go. Otter was brought in from Liverpool, theoretically, after he left his coaching job, so that he could probably stay. Jorgensen was one who they brought in from overseas but had served with Frank. So, I mean, realistically, you're probably looking at Haslam, Cochrane and Frank going for definite, unless Cochrane decides he wants to split from him and maybe take on a job as an interim. And then you've still got Heitinger. Heitinger is the unknown here because even though he was brought in, he's the one that is the most senior out of all of them as a manager / assistant coach. He's done the job.
Isn't the worst thing that's happened Matty Wells going to America?
I think he had to bloom, to be honest. He had to get out of shadows because he'd been in Ryan Mason's shadow and Scott Parker's shadow before that as well. He'd been the assistant coach at Bournemouth, at Burnley, down in the Championship as well. So I think he had to go and do his own thing, to be honest.
Sorry, Cal, maybe I should make my question clearer. Hang on. No, I want Callum to answer this because Cal's got an inside track on this. If Matty Wells was still here, he could have been the interim.
Theoretically, yeah. I mean, the most likely interim at the moment, if you're going for club-appointed staff, would be Wayne Burnett from the 21s.
Right.
Or
that'd be the safest bet. Yeah, I'm just thinking, though, if we're going like Spurs men, if we're going Spurs guys, not like external bought in, then you'd say Stuart Lewis or Wayne Burnett. Or Troy Archibald Harris from the 21s.
I mean, the only if they've got I'm going to come on to it, a permanent manager in mind. So let's talk about this. If you haven't heard Poch's interview, it's about an hour and a half, so you will have to make some time. But it will be, you may not even need to watch it all because he is effusive in his praise of Tottenham. He refers to the club as we. I'm wondering, Adrian, I'll bring you in on this, if the timing is no coincidence, that he knows Tottenham are in trouble and he's putting it out there that if we offered him the job now, he would get out of his American contract and come as the SOS, save our Spurs.
Depends how long you think the USA are going to stay in the World Cup. I've got the group somewhere, but I haven't looked. But they go out early. I think he comes.
Adrian, stop. Adrian, I'm not talking about them going out early. I'm talking about him coming on Wednesday or Thursday.
I think if I'll be surprised if conversations haven't taken place, because even with the crap board we've got, right, They know that, one, Pochettino would pacify and unite the fan base. Two, he'd probably get stabilised Romero. Three, Gallagher was his captain at Chelsea. Now, I know there's fans out there who think, oh, don't bring him back, he didn't win anything, which is a fair argument. But when he got second, third and fourth, he wasn't backed. He wasn't backed at all. So if he had been backed, what might he have done? And the other thing is what's reassuring is, like, we know what type of football we'll get under Poch. He's got Spurs DNA. So you have that. Others will will give my arguments a rebuttal. Fair enough. They won't want him back no matter what. Fair enough. I want him back. I want him back. And thing that I dread, and I think a lot of Spurs fans, do any of you want Frank to have a pre-season with this squad? Does that not frighten the life out of you? If it doesn't, I'll have a pint of what you've been drinking.
Yeah. David Shearer in the chat says Angie, and no, I wouldn't risk that. I genuinely wouldn't risk that. Although I think the players, I think a lot of this season is down to the mismanagement of the board in the summer, deciding they were going to sack Ange, who the players clearly loved, and brought in a manager who they clearly detest.
But we're still obviously reaping the rewards of Ange's high line, aren't we? Based on the amount of fucking injuries we've got. I mean, how many of these players have been out injured since last season, or are coming back from injuries from last season?
Well, are you still blaming Ange for this season's injuries? Or are you taking the mick?
No, I'm actually blaming him, to be honest. Kulusevski, Maddison, Bergvall, Mickey van der Ven, Solanke, just to name 6 alone
Kudus.
there. No, Kudus you can't, because he's one of Frank's.
You might as well.
Well, yeah, but realistically, a lot of them is down to from last year, realistically, because they're all overhangs from it. They were overplayed, and Frank just hasn't learnt from that, realistically. So both are as bad as each other, but a lot of the injuries have come from last year. That's the thing. The only ones we can honestly say have come this year are Porro and Kudus, realistically, because Porro went out injured last year at all, but he was overplayed. He played nearly 52 games. Bergvall was out injured after last season, weren't he?
Spence,
well, we didn't get played until January.
Yeah, I think it's a bit harsh to blame Ange for this season's
Yeah,
injuries.
I agree.
But let's go back. I when people like Maurizio Pochettino sit down and do a staged interview, and then they talk about Tottenham with a glint in their eye, and they keep talking about I can't help thinking he's putting it out there that he will come, and he will come now.
He's under contract here, and I mean that with the US.
He's got a 20 million release clause in there.
It'll be so messy. I mean,
cost a bomb to get him out of that contract. It would, and can you honestly see Donald Trump letting him?
Well, I don't think Donald Trump controls the US Football Association.
Well, he seems to think he can control Greenland, so I mean, a football team is probably the least of his fucking worries.
Let's just keep the politics out of here. Yeah, we're a football. So
yeah, I can't see it happening before the end of the season. I really can't. But I've said all along, I think the stars are aligned, and he will come back in the summer. But I think it'll be after the World Cup, whatever happens.
What was quite interesting as well by this was that it wasn't just Pochettino speaking in we terms about Spurs. It was Jesus Perez as well. He's obviously number 2 who he's had since his Espanyol days. And them two are like, they don't go anywhere away. They don't go anywhere without each other, sort of thing. And the same with Miguel D'Agostino and one other guy as well. So realistically, if you are good. Yeah, Jimenez, the goalkeeping coach as well. So you're getting a package there, and just that's the first time that them two have really done an interview on their own. Yeah. They do speak so highly of Spurs in the way it is.
I think the best time to do it, if you're going to do it, I know we've got the North London derby coming up, is if we lose against Newcastle. Because then you've got 12 days to have these conversations, and then I think you bring in Heitinga or Wayne Burnett because, and then you give it a potch in the summer, and you want them in early. You know, you want them in as soon as America go out the World Cup. You want Poch in. So I wouldn't be surprised these conversations have already taken place, because the board, they'll be crapping themselves. They've got everything wrong for 25 years. Levy was their front man, you know, and so like about time they got something right again.
I know I said earlier about him going, about Thomas Frank. I mean, I want him gone, but can we honestly see the board? You know, we all want him gone, but can we see the board doing it if we lose to Newcastle? Do you think they really will?
Probably not.
No.
I don't think.
I mean, I hate to think what they might do. I just thought it was. I thought it was interesting, the timing of the interview and the fact, as you say, Cal, we had Jesus with him to
be fair, though, these interviews are usually like pre-planned months in advance and all that. When you try and when you've got someone like Pochettino to sit down. I mean, we've seen it with Mickey doing with what was it, the Extra Inch or something like that podcast with Neville earlier in the season. They're all pre-approved months in advance by media teams. So it's just, I think, convenient timing that they've decided to release it. But it's probably been weeks since it's been sort of filmed, I'd say.
Yeah. So let's. I'm going to wrap up in a couple of minutes. We lose to Newcastle. Poch in or out? Adrian, I'll start with you for once.
In.
Tom?
I'd have Poch back, but it's not going to happen.
Yeah, sorry. Frank, sorry, Laura. If we lose to Newcastle, Frank in or out?
If we lose to Newcastle, Frank.
If we lose to Newcastle, Frank in or out?
Out.
That's one each. Si?
Well, no, you confused Adrian, the poor sod, because he thought you were talking about Poch.
That's right. Let's get back. If we lose to Newcastle, Thomas Frank in or out? Adrian?
I think he goes. He goes if we lose to Newcastle. 12 days to study his ship.
Tom?
Out.
Si?
I'd want him out, but I don't think they would.
Cal?
I'm like, Si, I want him out, but I don't think they'd have the backbone to do it.
I mean, harmless potato out, Sherwood or Klinsmann for an interim. I don't know who's out there as an interim. I can't help thinking, you know how football works, Cal, you'll have probably a better idea than most how many back channels there are. I can't believe there aren't agents that are speaking to Vinay, and Vinay might be the biggest problem to say, if you need to make a change, my man will come.
One name that keeps getting thrown in is Robbie Keane, and I keep asking the question. I'm just like, why would he come and give up a permanent job to come and wipe our arse for 6 months? To be honest,
it's ridiculous.
Because Hungary are still playing all their league until I think they play later than the rest of Europe because they have a massive break because of how bad the winter is out there. So they're obviously playing into May, late May. So why would he come over and people go, oh, will he do it for the love of Spurs? No. If he's got a permanent job and he's told to get packing within 4 months, we're all got jobs and we all have had businesses and all that. We don't just go and take a temporary position for 4 months and then hope for the best. That's not good business, not good money for a personal view either.
Well,
I question about Robbie Keane. He was quick to jump ship and go to Liverpool. Then when he didn't work out, come back. Spurs pulling the ball over.
Can I just say?
Adrian, there's no comparison, is there, with leaving a club to go to another club on a permanent contract? And, I mean, he come into Spurs, as Callum put it so eloquently, to wipe our arse for 6 months. No. It's not even 6 months. It'll be from February to June. And then possibly not have a job in September. I mean, it's not.
Well, what do you expect an interim to do in 13 games to go?
Keep us up. That's all I ask. Well, and I've got no confidence this
season. So we're writing up the season. We know we got 2 Champions League games, possibly 4 max. We're not winning it all, let's be fair. So we might get 4 Champions League games, so they get to fleece a bit more money out of me. And, if quarterfinals, when we get to the last 8, they'll destroy us, any team in the last 8. But yeah.
I'll be the anti-argument to that. I think you're all completely balmy. I think Robbie Keane, if Robbie Keane was offered a Premier League job, even if it's on an interim basis, do you think Robbie Keane's more likely to get a Premier League job if he carries on managing a team in Hungary, or if he comes and manages Tottenham for 4 months, keeps us up, has a good stint? He's more likely to get a Premier League job off the back of a 4-month interim position at Tottenham if it goes well than he is if he stays in a team in Hungary and it goes well.
Based on history, though, Tom, they always seem to end up back in the Championship, don't they? We've seen Gerrard, we've seen Lampard, we've coming in for that.
But managing a team in the Championship is actually more lucrative than managing a team in Hungary. Yes, that team in Hungary might play Champions League football, but that's because they're the only team in Hungary that can possibly qualify for it. Saying it doesn't make any business sense. It absolutely makes business sense. In fact, if he in business to get to where you want to be, you have to take risks, and actually taking a risk for Robbie Keane would be okay. I'll pack in this full-time job. I'll go and do an interim job at a Premier League team who desperately need me at this moment. If I keep them in the league and I actually get them performing well, I am way more likely to get a Premier League job than if I stay at a team in Hungary where I'm expected to win anyway.
So
I think with the pressure this Bolt's under, they haven't got the minerals to appoint someone like Robbie Keane. They'd rather take the easy option where they've got.
But that's irrespective of the point, Adrian.
Or if it was Burnett, they've got to get out. They've got to get out. If we only just stay up and it's still shit, you get Robbie Keane in and it don't work. It doesn't do Michael Carrick, and then.
I meant to put that up when we were talking about.
Will really hit the fan. But it's an angle, Tom. It's an angle.
I'm just saying, irrespective of the club would or wouldn't, I think saying if Robbie Keane would or wouldn't, I think he absolutely would jump at the chance of getting the opportunity to manage in the Premier League for 4 months. And because if he performs well, then that's him made. If he doesn't perform well, then he can go back to another team in a Hungarian league or something like that. He might never get the opportunity to manage a Premier League team again.
That the board would give him guarantees. If I'm coming in, I'm Robbie Keane.
What guarantees would he need? We're not in a transfer window.
Guarantees I would want. If I was Robbie Keane, the guarantees I would want. Right, I'm coming in this football club. I'm not coming in an interim. If you want me to come in as an interim, I want a contract. If you don't give me, I want this now.
That's stupid. That's stupid. That's a stupid guarantee.
Why would he leave a secure job?
Because he's going to get paid more to be an interim at Tottenham than he is going to be getting paid at Ferencváros in Hungary, and then he's more likely to get a job in the Premier League or the Championship, where again he's going to be getting paid more money than at the team that he is now.
Well, can I add something to what Tom said, and I want to get it in now because it's really important. There will be a vacancy at Celtic in the summer. Okay, Martin O'Neill's in as a stopgap. Robbie Keane, ex-Celtic player. Irish Catholic, that if it didn't work out for him well at Tottenham, but worked out well enough, Ferencváros, Celtic, that's the kind of level. That's something actually, Tom, I hadn't given thought for. My inclination is it's an absolutely daft idea, but the more you think about it, the better an idea I think it has. At worst, he puts himself in the shop window.
Yeah, it's got merit. It's definitely got merit to it. I just wonder whether Spurs as a business would take the mind to actually buy him out of his contract at Ferencváros, because obviously that's going to come with compensation clauses, isn't it, as well?
But that's a completely different conversation. The conversation was, why would Robbie Keane do it? Robbie Keane would do it because it literally puts him in the shop window, or
springboard, isn't it?
Yeah, but say he does that 4 months, then he wins every single game for the rest of the season. Surely you would then be thinking, well, actually, maybe we should keep him on as manager. He
wins 3 matches and keeps us up.
He's not a name though, Tom, is he? The club
is a name.
Poch is a name. Poch is
a name for the summer, but for right now, Robbie Keane is a name. He's synonymous with Tottenham Hotspur.
I've heard worse ideas than this.
But, to be honest, I think you saying about the Celtic job, Ian, I think he'd get that from managing Ferencvaros anyhow in the summer? Because I mean, that they appointed Ange from the Japanese league, didn't they?
I think any of us could get it from hosting Diehards or Project Spurs at the moment, let's put it that way. So, I mean, literally, that's how piss poor the Celtic job has been for the last 2.5 seasons. But, yeah, I mean, Tom's definitely got a really good point to it. And the more that you do think about it, it's maybe not him getting the permanent job, but for his own personal PR side. I mean, realistically, what we're going to be looking at, maybe Crystal Palace job could be available in the summer. The Brighton job could be available in the summer as well. So he might not get the permanent. Yeah, exactly. So he might not get the permanent Spurs job, but there will be other Prem jobs that could be out there as well, couldn't there?
Because that's the other thing as well. Like, look at Michael Carrick, for example. Right, he's doing a very good job at United. Will he get the permanent position in the summer? Who knows? But if he doesn't, I guarantee that another Premier League club like Crystal Palace or someone like that would absolutely snap up Michael Carrick. Yeah,
we could do worse. Vindaloo, I need to answer that. If you were serious on match days, that stadium should be empty. The away fans shouldn't turn up. Why are the fans supporting the club to possible relegation? Because this channel's called Spurs Diehards, Tottenham Till I Die. That's why we go.
And we all pay a bloody fortune for season tickets and bloody match day tickets.
But we will support this club, and if we do get relegated, we will hopefully dump our owners. But we will still support this club. Actually, when we were in the old second division, we had the best away days ever with that season. We went away and won so many matches and had played some glorious football. So, I mean, would you take Carrick if he doesn't get the United job?
If it wasn't Poch, though, and you look at and we're talking the end of the season, there's so many managers going to be available. So many will be sacked. There'll be international managers. What's happening? We don't have Tuchel will be there. Nagelsmann will be in the frame. You still got Xavi and Endes. I mean, there are.
Southgate.
Southgate. Yeah, Christian Gross. Yes, I mean, there are managers that want to manage. Look, there are managers out there that want foreign managers that would love to manage in the Premier League. It's just a question of when the right opportunity becomes vacant for them.
It's just that I think the timing is so poor. That's the problem that we've got at the moment, because realistically we are off the back of and we can all agree, a bollocks transfer window where we was very much expected a lot to happen, left out. So if you was going to do it, you'd have sacked Frank. Yeah, you was going to sack Frank at the start of January, then you give a new manager a transfer window. If you was going to appoint, say, a Xavi or an Alonso. Now we are scraping the barrel because it looks like the Liverpool job might not be available, so Slot's probably safe till the summer. A lot of other managers will then consider their positions when their contracts come into the end of the summer or after the World Cup. I mean, I'm guessing World Cup's probably June, start of July, is it? So any decision you're going to have to make, the impact, even if we get Pochettino, he is going to be behind on pre-season as well. And I've only just thought about that if he does come in, he will minimum join us probably the start of August. That's where we're all going to be sort of screwed as well. And any appointment we do make has to be taken in consideration. And that's why I guess the board have been scared to make anything of it about Frank, but also the idea that whoever else comes in, they was either going to throw a massive checkbook down in January and buy a whole new team, or they take the hit but then see where they stand from there.
Vindaloo, do me a favour. Can you get in touch with me through the usual channels? My login detail, everything. I'll put them back up. And come on the show on the Sunday night after the NLD. Can you do that? That would be interesting. Right. Tom, I know, needs to scoot. I'm wondering, Adrian, this might be a discussion we can pick up again on Wednesday night after the game, because it might be, I think if Thomas Frank's going, he will go on Wednesday. if we get beat. Hopefully we don't get beat. He
We've
wins.
got lots of things to talk about, shows, because it's not just Frank going. You've got that the transfer window opens 4 days after the World Cup, from the 15th of June to the 31st of August, and we know the transfer window goes 2 weeks into the new season. Like you say, you've got the World Cup finishes on the 26th of July. You've got our players away. How many are going to come back injured with no rest? You know more about the law than I do, employment law. How many days rest? We know that PSG players had to have a rest after the World Club.
3 weeks. FIFA demands 3 weeks.
Okay. It's 3 weeks. There is so much to discuss, and that's without getting into transfers when we get round to this. So this club, never a dull moment with this club. Once one PR disaster has passed, the next one's just round the corner, right? So, so it's never a dull moment being a Spurs fan.
Yeah, Vindaloo, I said that, big up. I see you put that in the chat.
Yeah,
great. Get in touch.
Thanks for coming on, mate.
Find me, get in touch, and we'll have you on the show after the NLD. Right, I am going to leave it there because you give you some stuff to talk about. Who knows what's going to happen? Adrian, you've got a show on Wednesday.
Yeah, we got at the moment it's post-match Newcastle. Any repercussions from that? Didn't want to do it Tuesday because fans' emotions, and there's all emotionally charged after the game, whatever happens. So let people calm down from whatever the result is Tuesday. We talk about Newcastle, and we've got a couple of days. Anything can break in the news with Spurs in 2 days. World War III could break out.
I'm assuming you're not going to do a show on Friday after Wednesday unless something happens on Thursday or whatever.
Yeah, I'll have the American guys on Friday. I'll find something to talk about.
Okay. I will be doing this show, ownership special with Brian Daigle, Billy from Spurs. I should have changed the banner. Sorry, Spurs for Change. And hopefully I'm going to get Connor from Levonomics, who ironically has been in Budapest the last couple of days. So maybe he's been talking to Robbie Keane at Ferencváros, and he will be bringing him home with him tomorrow. We'll see.
He's helping sell Daniel Levy's shares.
Yeah. Yeah. So, Jimmy, we've been talking about that. It's Tuesday's game, the sack race. I think a few of us are of the opinion if he loses his history. Callum, can we get you back on when we see you on Project Spurs again?
Probably see myself, Gary, and maybe a couple of the other guys tomorrow night. We've got an interview with Sam Tabatal from The Standard, talking all things Spurs. That'll be at 7:00. I'm sure that we will probably have I don't know if we'll do a podcast Tuesday night or not, Si, will we, after the game? Maybe more likely Wednesday. Probably, isn't it, as well, post-game as well. But we've got a couple of big guests. I mean, Gary was on with Joseph last night as well, interviewing Tim Vickery about our Brazilian contingent. So that was a very good one. I missed it because I was pissed down the pub. So I was not a good boy on that one. But yeah, go and check that out as well. But obviously follow myself, Gary, Joseph, Phil and Si. And Si the Fox as well. I have to get both of them right. If not, I get in trouble.
Yeah. Si, where can people find you?
Yeah, you can find me on X at Brummy Spurs. As with Carl, I'm on Project Spurs. Regular on there quite a lot. Hopefully I'll get on there tomorrow night as well. So yeah, give me a follow. Love talking about Spurs. And also I've got an event with someone lined up quite in March, an evening with Pat Jennings.
Oh wow.
Compared by Mickey Hazard. So looking forward to that. When I get a chance, I'll put the link on the WhatsApp, guys, and anyone's welcome. So,
okay. And Tom, I know you got to go, but I know you're a regular on here. Anywhere?
Yeah.
Anything else?
No, you'll mostly find me on here. I'm on Twitter or X or whatever it's bloody called now as well. So yeah, Tom Spurs TT ID, but I mostly just moan on there. So.
Okay, you can get me at Shaggy1712 on X. Always follow back my fellow Spurs supporters. Vindaloo, if you get me through there, I'll follow you back too. We can hold our noses while we follow each other and have you on the show a week on Sunday, 2 weeks today. Thank you, everybody. Thanks to my guests, to Si, to Cal, to Tom, and to Adrian, to everybody in the chat. Been a really, really, really good discussion. Hopefully, as usual, please like, please subscribe, please set the alert so that you know when we're coming on. Well over 150 of you, probably over 250 various points have come on and watched the show. Thank you very much. Hope you've enjoyed it as much as we have, and we go out with some lovely soul music. Catch you next time.
We are Tottenham diehards. Something I can't explain. We follow through sun and rain. When we lose, we don't complain. Yes we do, oh we do. But Tottenham Hotspur, I will love you till I die. I will love you, I die. I will love you till I die, till I die, till I die. We follow through sun and rain, rain. When we lose, we don't complain. Yes we do, oh, we do. But Tottenham Hotspur, I will love you till I die. I will love you, I will die. I will love you till I die, till I die, till I die. We follow through sun and rain. When we lose, we don't